Hey ho! This is another video in my series, reading old newspapers. So basically, I read, I have a subscription to newspapers.com and I go through old papers from towns and stuff. First, I'd like to say that sometimes my audio and video too, but the audio is worse, that it skips and breaks and you can't understand it. It happens just for a little while and then it straightens out again. So I'm sorry if that happens. Um, I still post it because usually it's still a good video. The audio just for a little moment gets screwed up. So I'm sorry about that if that happens. So let's get started. So main screen. And I will pick United States. Let's pick small town. Small town, let's see. Small town in Minnesota. Let's see, that's some small town. Little Falls, let's try. Little Falls Herald, I guess. And it's going to be 1800s. 1920, let's try. April, because we're in April. It's only Fridays. Let's try April 30th. 8 pages. Alright, let's do this. Okay. Little Falls Herald. No pictures. Okay, let's read this one. Citizens meeting at court house Sunday to complete plans for Memorial Park campaign. Furtherance of plans for launching the financial campaign for a memorial park for Morrison County, including the fixing of the date for the opening of the drive, is the main object of the meeting of citizens to be held at the county courthouse in Little Falls next Sunday, May 2nd, beginning at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Letters have been sent to all the county delegates and workers, and it is expected that at least 200 out-of-town people will attend the meeting. Every person who is interested in providing a suitable memorial in honor of those who served this country in the military service during the World War is asked to attend this meeting and help put this proposition over in a proper manner. The county committee will give a full report on what it has done on the project in the past. There will also be stirring addresses by local and outside speakers, including Reverend Philip Gregory, Fr. France, Lamoth, Mr. R. L. Cochran, Honorable C. W. Boak of Royalton, C. O. Nelson of Bowis, J. J. Jacobson of Elmdale, and others. Somebody died. Mrs. Tracy Schumann, an inmate of the Franciscan old folks home here. She was 98 years old. Okay, she's okay. 2 sons and a daughter from South St. Paul were here for the funeral, which was held Wednesday morning at 8:30 from Sacred Heart Church. FR, what's that? Former Altendorf officiating. Interment was in Sacred Heart Cemetery. Hmm. Well, she lived. She was 90. Well, how old? 98. Well, that's pretty good. Musical Art Club. The Little Falls Musical Art Club held its annual meeting at the Maud Moon Weyerhaus Church. Weyerhauser Hall Wednesday evening. The attendance was very good. The club members discussed the proposed amendments to the Articles of Incorporation and they were adopted. Mrs. Jenny Lind Blanchard, president of the club, read her annual message, with which prevail very interesting. Election of officers results in the re-election of Mrs. Blanchard, as president. Okay, good enough. Let's go to the next page. Oh, it's a commercial. Oh, a commercial here too. Halt City lot sale. Halt's City Mayor refuses to sign deed to lot sold by Barney Burton. Believing that the city lot on First Street Southeast should remain intact, Mayor Berg, Bergheim was declined to sign the deed for the sale by the city of the north 20 feet of the south half of Lot 7, Block 5, original plat, to Barney Burton for $600. Mayor Bergham, in returning the resolution to the council unsigned, explained his reasons in a letter which is reproduced herewith. April 23rd, 1920. Okay, well, I don't want to read it. To the City Council, Little Falls, Minnesota. Gentlemen, I have before me your proposed deed for the sale of lot 20, lot of the north 20 feet of the 8.5 of lot 5, lot 7, block 5 of the original plat of the city of Little Falls, Minnesota. I regret to say that I am unable to approve of the council's action in this matter and therefore return the deed to you unsigned, and for the following reasons. In my opinion, it is very unwise for the city to sell 20 feet of this lot. This lot has a frontage on Front Street south of 80 feet. It is large enough for the construction of a modern city hall, a fire station such as the city may have to build some time in the near future. If the lot is reduced to size by 20 feet, it may not be large enough for this purpose. The city does not own another lot of equal size and so located that it could be used for the purpose above mentioned. Our present city hall stands on a small lot, small because some of our city officials in the past made the mistake of selling the back part of it. I don't think we should make the same mistake again. There is absolutely no reason why we should sell a part of this lot. The amount of money received would not pay for the purchase of a lot elsewhere, and besides, this lot is in the right location and is the right size for the purpose for which the city would use it. Respectfully yours, N.N. Bergheim, Mayor. Makes sense. That's probably smart. Next page. I don't know why. Lightning kills and destroys. Year after year, the utterly needless destruction goes on. Millions of dollars worth of livestock, horses, crops, buildings, and all gone in a flash, to say nothing of the hundreds of people killed annually. Perhaps you say to yourself, well, I've escaped it so far, and probably I'll always be lucky. Lightning doesn't know anything but about luck. The lucky man is the one who gets ready and installs protection to prevent loss, failure, and death, instead of being partially paid for the damage after it's done. Install Thompson's the world's best and get guaranteed lightning protection. No building properly protected from lightning with Thompson's scientific system has ever been damaged. That is the meaning of our slogan, Never Struck, and it's a record to be proud of. Tomorrow may be too late. J. H. Van Loon, expert lightning rod engineer, Little Falls, Minnesota. Special authorized agent. Let's see here. Junior band may take trip. The Little Falls Junior Band may make a trip to St. Cloud next July for the state convention of the Elk Lodge if satisfactory arrangements can be made and the band continues to make as good a progress as it is now making. Good. Lois Hanson, who has been farming in Little Falls town for several years, has purchased a small farm near Hastings, and the family moved there Wednesday. And it's in the newspaper. Wow. Okay, let's move on. Ooh, 800 killed in revolution. Reports say that many civilians in San Salvador lost lives. San Salvador, 800 men, women, and children were killed in the recent fightings in Guatemala City during the revolt which resulted in the overthrow of President Manuel Estrada Cabrera, according to the latest advices received here from Guatemala. Numerous adherents of Cabrera, who remains faithful to their chief, were killed in their own houses, the advices say. Advices. Hmm. $325 for killing coyotes. That sum of money paid in bounty by a county treasurer in California. Marysville, California, I guess. $325 were cashed by County Harvey D. I. Samuel Marple of Smartsville here on 65, which Marple and his brother captured in May in the hills between Smartsville and Browns Valley. Marple believed there are two species of coyotes in the hills of Yuba County. He says he has discovered litters of 12 to 14 dune or dirt colored and smaller sized litters of gray animals. Marple does not kill the older animals, but tracks them to their lair, where he captures the entire families. Interesting. Okay, let's go to the next page. What is this here? New factory for Little Falls. Little Falls has good prospects of getting another factory within a short time, the owners of which will be permanent men of Minneapolis and Little Falls. Certificates of incorporation have been granted, the name in the same being the Little Falls Paper Products Company. Full details are not yet available as arrangements have not been fully completed. The company will manufacture all sorts of paper containers, novelties, etc., and it is said will employ from 30 to 40 people to start with. Pretty good. Okay, move to the next page. Move quickly. Trying to get more done. The new double-breaster. May we call your attention today to the new double-breasted suit, with or without belts, in blue serge, unfinished worsted and cashmere, in plain or fancy colors. Coats cut form-fitting with moderate broad lapels to button two buttons. An ideal suit for early spring and summer suit. $35, $45, $35, $45, $55. Won't you step in for a few moments and have the pleasure of looking at our new choice garments for springwear? I love reading these. Fresh vegetables. Head of lettuce, 15 cents. 2 for 25 cents. Leaf lettuce per bunch, 5 cents. Rhubarb per pound, 20 cents. Celery jumbo per bunch, 20 cents. Carrots per bunch, 15 cents. Beets per bunch, 15 cents. Turnips per bunch, 15 cents. Shallots per bunch, 13 cents. 2 for 25 cents. Parsley per bunch, 5 cents. I've said this before. Nowadays, if you lose $1 by accident, no big deal. Maybe $2. You lose $2, you can't buy lettuce and tomatoes and stuff. Like this, for $1. 30 cents, you can buy 3 granular sugar, packets. Professional cards. They don't have, what do you call those? Business cards. They put it in the newspaper. Stephen C. Vasali, counselor at law. First mortgage loans. Office is Vasali Building. E. F. Shaw, lawyer. Probate practice specialty. First National Bank Building, Little Falls. See what I mean? They didn't have business cards back then, I guess. Okay, we'll go to the next page. Oh, little cartoon there. The Clancy Kids. A bird in the hand worth 2 in the cage. Hey Spider, your darn parrot just nipped my finger. Yeah, was teasing him. That's why. I did not tease him. See, all I did was this. Yow! Wow! He just, all I did was point at his, moved his cage a bit. Yow! What the heck? Darling Town. April 27th. The present cold and wet weather is delaying seeding, much to the disappointment of the farmers. Roads are also in bad shape. A number of friends of Mr. and Mrs. John Zilich pleasantly surprised them at their home Saturday evening. They were presented with a purse of money as a token of esteem. Lunch was served at the close of the very pleasant evening. The Zilich family will move to St. Paul soon. Mrs. Andrew Pearson and two sons arrived from Chicago Saturday. They will occupy their farm in Section 34, East Darling. Mrs. Lewis Nelson has been in Minnesota visiting friends. Arthur Erickson has returned to Wisconsin to work on the 800 line. The Pike Creek pencil pusher has purchased a new car. Clarence Taylor lost a valuable hog last Saturday. A local farmer sold 3 carloads of hay to Dr. J. H. Newman recently. The hay was shipped to Montana. William Peterson has purchased a car from his uncle Charles Johnson. Wow. Okay, I think there's one more page and then I'm finished. Oh, there's like a, I don't know. Family of 8 murdered. Those killed victims of maniac, authorities believe. Baby girl of John Wolfe, wealthy North Dakota farmer, only member of household to escape. Bismarck, ND, what's ND? North Dakota. The bodies of 8 persons, father, mother, 5 children, and hired man, apparently the victims of a shotgun maniac, and an 11-month-old girl uninjured in her crib, was the discovery made by a neighbor when he entered the home of Jacob Wolfe, well-to-do farmer 3 miles north of Turtle Lake. 2 of the bodies, those of the father and Hofer, the hired man, and Hoffer, the hired man, were found in the barn covered with straw. The remaining 6 were in the basement where they were believed to have been thrown after a struggle in the kitchen. John Kraft, the neighbor who made the discovery, entered the home after seeing the family washing the line for 2 days and no signs of life about the place. Mr. Kraft immediately summoned C.L. Foster, Deputy State's Attorney of Turtle Lake, who, after a brief examination, posted deputy sheriffs about the farm until the coroner could release the bodies. A bloody hatchet was found in the basement with the bodies. Some of the children have been killed with the hatchet, apparently, while the bodies of the others bore gunshot wounds. Mr. Wolfe, 45 years old, owned a half section of land and was estimated to have been worth $25,000. He was a Russian German, a devout church member, and a man in the habit of lending considerable sums of money to his neighbors. Mr. Wolf is not known to have had any enemies, so Sheriff Stessard is working on a theory that he and the other 7 were the victims of a maniac. Stessard. That's awful. Okay, moving on. That's it. Okay, let's move to another paper. Loading. My computer is slow. It's trying to load. Go back. There we go. Okay. Go back. Let's go to I don't know, New Hampshire. And we'll go to Woodsville. The new weekly news. The weekly news? No. The weekly news. Okay, the weekly news. Only one day. 1891 and only 1 month. January and only 1 day. Friday. Okay, let's look at this. The weekly news. Woodsville, New Hampshire. Only a scare. No diphtheria at Weber's at Reigate, Vermont, I guess. BT is Vermont. Frightened by false reports, authorities quarantine the premises. So it says here, terms of subscription, 1 year, strictly in advance, $1. If paid during the year, $1.25. If not paid within the year, $1.50. Huh. Advertising rates. Is penmanship a lost? I do not recall that Wendell Phillips, in his lecture, The Lost Art, said anything to prove that penmanship is a lost art. I should hardly to claim, without further research, then the boy's grandfathers are away, so to me, and one will only have to remain a short time with the postmaster and compare the writing of the present time with revolutionary days to be convinced that there has not been proportionate improvement in this accomplishment. And surely the teachers are not doing as much for the pupils, and the pupils are not doing as much for themselves as was accomplished in the days of our ancestors. For it is required in those days that the teacher should at least know something about the practice of penmanship, although the theory may have been wanting. Now we have theory enough, but those who practice as well as theorize are few indeed. And in my mind theory, without practical instruction, is worth but little. In my expertise of 15 years, I have not found one teacher outside the city's schools who is a thorough and competent instructor in penmanship, and the business colleges are doing nearly all the good work in the paper instruction of how to write well. Thus it happens that men prominent in the various professions are poor penmen. Sometimes a great author, statesman, or divine writes a hand that is readable and need not be studied and puzzled over to the point of distraction. But the good writing of this one man is an oasis in a desert of hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphics. There is no reason why teachers should not teach penmanship, if they are able to teach anything, for notwithstanding all this talk about special gifts, it can be easily proved that this art is in no sense a special gift, and is sooner this fallacy is exposed, the better for all concerned. To be able to write rapidly and well requires much practice and more perseverance, and have not been yet found a pupil who could not become a penman above the average, who had perseverance, and who would practice and practice faithfully. Because the teacher will not try to improve is the reason why they often find a pupil who knows how to use the pen better than they do, which surely is not a credit to that teacher. The boy or girl who practices a small part of each day during their school years ought to be able to write creditably when they leave the public school. But as a rule, their writing is anything but a credit to themselves or to their teachers, and the fact is that all the more to be lamented, inasmuch as such ought not to and not need to be the case. I believe that it is well for pupils to have a thorough knowledge of languages, science, and philosophy, that boys and girls should be encouraged to complete a college course of study, but it is only reason to insist that every boy and girl who graduates from the public school shall be able to read understandingly, spell correctly, and write a rapid business hand on the day of graduation. To excel in such study or in anything requires long and persevering application, and to master this art is no exception to the rule, but is part of the rule itself, and none who may be supposed to possess this special gift have attained to any degree of excellence without long and diligent practice. Let teachers be honest and admit that they might teach this important study much better if they do. Let them be able to practice as well as to theorize. Let them insist that their pupils shall work hard and persistently, and then the age of hieroglyphics will be past. What the hell? The whole thing about freaking writing. That's ridiculous. Penmanship. Whole essay on penmanship. Oh, there's a little poetry there. Sulfur bitters, the great German remedy. Truth for the sick. Let me read this. For those deadly billion spells depend on sulfur bitters, it will cure you. Do you suffer with that tired and all gone feeling? If so, use sulfur bitters. It will cure you. Operatives who are closely confined in the mills and workshops, clerks who do not procure sufficient exercise, and all who are confined indoors should use sulfur bitters. They will not then be weak and sickly. If you do not wish to suffer from rheumatism, use a bottle of sulfur bitters. It never fails to cure. Don't be without a bottle. Try it. You will not regret it. $1,000 will be paid for a case where sulfur bitters will not assist or cure. It never fails. Sulfur bitters will cure liver complaint. Don't be discouraged. It will cure you. Sulfur bitters will build you up and make you strong and healthy. Sulfur bitters will make your blood pure, rich, and strong, and your flesh hard. Okay. If it really works, why don't they do it still today? All these things, man. What's this? Nothing on earth will make hens lay like Sheridan's condition powder. It is absolutely pure, highly concentrated. In quality, it costs less than tenth of a cent a day. Strictly a medicine. Prevents and cures all diseases. Good for young chicks. Worth more than gold when hens molt. One large can save me $40. Send 6 for $5 to prevent roup, says a customer. If you can't get it, send us 50 cents for 2 packs. 5, $1. A 2¼ pound, 2¼ pound can $1.20 paid postpaid. 6 cans $5. Express paid. The best poultry paper sample copy free. Poultry raising guide free with $1 orders or more. I.S. Johnson and Company, Boston, Massachusetts. I guess it's for your poultry. Huh. That's a lot of hoo-ha. Let's see. What's up? Oh, another cure, man. Fart. Like says, give me a break. What is it? I don't want to read another one of those. Should I read this poem? Ideal. Somewhere out in the great wide world, my love is waiting for me. And I search through the endless throb of life for the face that I at last shall see. My heart whispers low, I shall find her, and I feel in no inward strife, but calmly I wait for my own to come, for the fate of my strange, tense life. I shall know her, my bonny darling, by the soul-like light in her eyes, by the nobleness throned on the pure white brow, where the grace of her beauty lies. There will be no need for questions, nor of answers soft or low. For we both have bided the weary times, and the secret we both shall know. I shall hold her hand in a firm, strong clasp. I shall press her close to my heart, for all the long years of waiting are over, and we wander no more apart. Ida Estelle Crouch in Brooklyn Eagle. I don't read poetry that well. I probably ruined the whole diction. The diction. The rhythm. Okay, let's check another page. State news. Vermont news. Nothing looks good here. Vermont news. A.N. Stevens of Heartland, 91, is now the oldest person in that town. Good to know. The Springfield Free Reading Room Association is permanently organized and the room open to the public. C. E. Allen of Brattleboro has recently received from the originator in Italy seed of the new carnation, the seed of which sold last year for $32 an ounce. For the first time in 20 years, the Stratford stage failed to make its trip to Pompa on account of the roads being blocked with ice, snow, and water. Okay, next page. One more page after this and I'm finished. I don't know when I'm looking at furniture. Upholstering. Picture frames. Soft center bed lounge. One more page. That's not interesting. Ooh, look at this here. Work in sight. Permanent alignment. Instantly changeable type. The Crandall. The first class two-handed typewriter. The lowest price at which a two-handed writing machine has been sold. $50. There it is there. Impressive. First class. Crandall Machine Company. Mention this paper. Okay. I think that's it. We'll go to one more page. I don't think there's anything interesting. Okay, that's it. That's all she wrote. Okay. I'll close it off. Okay. So that's that. 45 minutes worth of reading. It's awful. 8 people died by maniac, hatchet, and gunshot wounds. That was awful. And that was kind of like unnecessary news. They're just writing stuff. And then these bitter solutions for like your cure. I hate those. Snake oil, they're called. Okay, that's the video. Okay, signing off. Remember, live your life and see what happens. Okay, later.